Yo, what's up guys, the Insane Game Freak here to bring you another video, and here we're going to talk about One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 and all the bullshit about it. So, if you haven't heard, they have recently announced, I think it was like a few weeks ago, that at this year's Tokyo Game Show, they're going to be showing off One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. Now, as a One Piece fan, you might be, well, shouldn't you be happy about this? One Piece are getting more games, more One Piece exposure. The problem is now that One Piece is turning into One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 is pretty much turning into what Naruto currently is, which is a whore. And the problem I have with this is that they've been doing this for a while. I mean, the Storm series, for all intents and purposes, has been coming out like once a year. And now, if anyone's noticed, for 2013, what was it? Yeah, 2013. No, this year, we've had about, I believe, 3 Storm games in like the course of a year. Because you have Storm 3 Full Burst, and then I think Storm 3 Full Revolution, I believe is what it's called. That's 3 games, and it's doing exactly what Capcom does with Super Street Fighter 4. Slight tweaks, some slight changes, and maybe a few more characters. And the problem with that is that I think, and it seems to be Namco Bandai specifically. Now granted, I mean, Naruto's always going to have this problem, even when you go back to PlayStation 2 and the Wii, and even PlayStation 3 and everything. Well, actually it is on PlayStation 3, but you get my point. They've always had this problem. Like Classic Ninja has been going on since the PlayStation 2 era, and the Wii got 3 iterations of the Storm, Classic Ninja Revolution games, which did exactly the same thing, slight tweaks and extra characters. And granted, I bought into those because I was young and stupid, but it's getting to the point now where you're looking at this series and going, this is fucking asinine. I mean, it wasn't really cool then either. It's like they're not, like, I don't feel like Namco Bandai, because Namco Bandai is also working on, well, I think it's like Warframe is the actual developer, but they're publishing it, and Namco Bandai is getting a little asinine with this crap, where it's like, you can't just let a game sit. Like, you can't just let that's the thing about a fighting game. Fighting games don't need to be updated all the time, because fighting games, for all intents and purposes, have long replay value, because you're usually playing a fighting game for a while. But ever since the PS3, Wii, 360 generation, they've felt the need to update that game, to update one fighting game like 4 times. You've seen it with Capcom's, hell, they did it with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Granted, they stopped after the 2nd time, but still, they did it. Street Fighter 4 is on its, 4th or 5th edition. Even as I say, even on the Wii, we had 3 Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi games, 3 Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution games. This shit has got this, and oh yeah, and recently you had Dead or Alive 5. Now granted, I was hyped for Dead or Alive 5, because Dead or Alive 5, we haven't seen a Dead or Alive 5 that was just solely about jiggle physics since Dead or Alive 4, which was like a while ago. All we really were getting from Dead or Alive was just the beach volleyball games that are good masturbation material, but that's all the fuck you're using them for. I mean, Dead or Alive is a fighting game series, and then what we have, I think there's 3 versions of Dead or Alive 5 now currently. What is with this whole new idea of, you know what we should do? We should just keep adding on to a game and not even letting the game sit for a while. Most of these games haven't even been able to sit for a year. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 has yet to be able to sit. It literally had like an addition to it, like, what was it, 5 or 6 months later? It's not, and see, here's the thing. One Piece is going through the same situation. Pirate Warriors 1 came out in 2000, I believe 2012? 2012. Pirate Warriors 2 came out last year, and now we're getting Pirate Warriors 3, which granted will have a longer longevity, because granted it doesn't come out until next year, but the problem is that's still too soon. And what makes it worse for the Pirate Warriors series is Pirate Warriors is not a fighting game franchise. Therefore, it shouldn't even be this redundant. And so what hurts is that it's all, and as you see, I've mentioned, it's mainly like anime and fighting games. The advantage with these are is that, you know, you have characters who have been introduced in the manga recently, so you throw them into the game. Pirate Warriors 2 takes place, technically features up until like Punk Hazard without actually showing off Fishman Island and nothing of Dressrosa, right? But where are we at in the manga currently? In Dressrosa. So who the fuck are you probably who do you think they're gonna throw in there? They'll probably throw in Don Flamingo, maybe some Fishman Island characters. There's not too much you can add to it, especially considering the storyline doesn't even take place around the actual anime itself. And granted, I thought Power Warriors 2 was, and I know I haven't technically reviewed it, but Power Warriors 2 I thought was a good sequel to Power Warriors 1. And if I had to recommend one of the Pirate Warriors games, it would be Pirate Warriors 2. Because Pirate Warriors 1, even though it was okay, had some fucking problems. Pirate Warriors 2 was so much better in almost every way. The only thing that sucked about Pirate Warriors 2 was that dumb thing where, you know, you promoted this character, you promoted Law like he was, you know, on the front cover of the box and everything, because it was like, oh, Law showed up in the manga, so we're going to make a game and throw him as the main character. If anyone's played Pirate Warriors 2, you know when you actually get Law in the game, and you know the struggle that is involved with getting Law in the game, so you know that that was bullshit. Namco Bandai has gone into this, you know, it's not even like I don't like the company, but I'm like, dude, let a fighting game sit. Capcom, same thing. Let the fan bases for fighting games usually can grow over time. I mean, you see people still play Melee, for God's sakes, all the goddamn time. Why don't you just let the fighting game sit for a while? You always, people, for some reason, it's like the introduction with downloadable content and DLC and all this other online shit. For some reason, people all of a sudden feel like, you know what we should do? We should just keep updating the game every goddamn 6 months. And I'm like, see, eventually people are going to stop buying into the bullshit. That's why I only own Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. That's why I only own the original Dead or Alive 5. That's why I only own the first iteration of any of these fighting games. Why? I mean, I think even Persona 4 hasn't even done this. I mean, Persona 4 has, I think, 2 fighting games, Arena and Ultimax. If I'm correct, and I'm not sure if I am, so correct me in the comments, but Persona 4 Ultimax is coming out, I believe, this year or next year, and the original came out like at least 2 years ago, I think. 1 or 2 years ago, right? Give me a gap. And granted, I still think that's too fucking close too, but like the point is, you don't have to keep doing, even, I mean, the Tekken series doesn't do this. Tekken 6 and Tekken 7, there's a gap, damn it. Like, you don't have to keep doing that. Fighting games are not games that need to be updated. If you want to do patches, that's whatever. But some of this shit, you want to throw in, you want to make it a whole new game when all of them are just add-on content. Like, it's like, oh, we'll give, like, what was it? The newest Street Fighter update was like 3 or 4 new characters and like some slight tweaks. That needed to be justified to put it as a fucking physical retail release. You couldn't just put that as DLC and do like the updates and tweaks to the fucking it's not like the shit's running on PlayStation 4. It's still running on PS3. You don't need to keep doing that. And what makes it worse is, listen, my generation fucked up. I'm not gonna say I bought into that bullshit. I have like 4 or 5 Naruto games that are within the same series. And same thing with One Piece and the same thing with Dragon Ball Z. And I've learned, I think a lot of us has learned, Dragon Ball Z in terms of fighting games is just bullshit now. They've just ran that series completely into the ground. After the Wii, I stopped buying any DBZ game after that. I don't own any on the PS3. And I don't plan to. Fuck this, what is it called? Xenoverse or some shit? No, not doing it. We've gotten ridiculous with it. And Storm, Naruto's gone the same way. Not doing this shit anymore. I'm moving the fuck on. And it pisses me off because Pirate Warriors isn't even a fighting game franchise. And you're already trying to beat us to death with it. Stop it. You're going to kill you. This is how you kill franchises when you keep doing this. When you keep pushing the same franchise over. And granted, a lot of games have been doing this recently. Like Assassin's Creed is running itself into the ground. Fucking Call of Duty does the same thing. It's not just fighting games, but I'm specifically picking on that because Namco Bandai has gotten damn near reckless with this shit, and it's getting insane. Pirate Warriors 3, I actually believe, will be the first Pirate Warriors game I will say that I might buy as a fanboy, but I will never suggest anyone to go buy. And because they're updated every year now, it's like, I would say wait 6 years and then buy the next iteration. Because that's what I said about Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. It's like, that game I didn't think was that interesting. And I skipped generations. I didn't pay for fucking generation. I went from 2 to 3, and I still thought 3 was bullshit. There's a problem. And granted, the gap between 2 and 3 isn't that huge either. Fighting games do not need to be updated every fucking year, because they will never be justified as a purchase, because you can't change too much. Usually, I feel like fighting games are something that should come out like at least within a gap of 5 years. Particularly because you get tired of playing the same game. It's like, oh man, it's like, yeah, I want another Grand Battle game, but I don't want a Grand Battle game every year from now on. It's like, yeah, I mean, I like the gameplay style, but I don't want to play it 6 times. There's no game. I don't understand how people think. Granted, the sales show. I mean, people still buy this shit, and it's hard because a lot of them are younger and they want to keep up with everybody. And it's a very clever tactic, but it's dirty. And the point is that it's a waste of money. It's a waste of money for you to go and buy the second iteration of a game that you know will have at least 4 more iterations. And most people are either going to get smart about it. They're either just going to start waiting this shit out, or they're just going to stop buying it altogether. And Pirate Warriors 3 is something until I see footage of, I would suggest no one fucking touch. And I like One Piece, and I want One Piece to get supported, but I want good games. You know, getting a One Piece game doesn't mean shit to me if it's not a good one. Like Unlimited World Red, yeah, we got that game. I wouldn't recommend Unlimited World Red on any platform. Why? Because the storyline's only 10 hours long, and that's if you don't know what you're doing. And the game, for all intents and purposes, is fan service bullshit. Like, there's nothing appealing about this game, I can honestly say, except that you get to play as Law, and you get to play as fucking the Straw Hats, and you get to play as some other characters. You get to fight in tournaments and play as Don Flamingo and shit. Oh, look, there's a whole bunch of DLC, though, for it. Actually, hold on a second. Let me show you. Look at all of this shit. I think for the most part, there's only one free DLC, and this thing has an ass amount of DLC. And you know the funny thing about it? 90% of it isn't fucking worth it. Because as I said before, if you wanted to play an unlimited adventure game, I would play the one on the Wii. Because this game is bullshit. But look at all the DLC you can get for it. Look at this. Nami Swimsuit Pack. Quest. How much was the quest? It's fucking $3 to buy a side quest. Do you see the problem that we're running into? Is that that Namco Bandai and a lot of these other companies have just gone into this mindset of just throwing the same game at you with slight tweaks and character changes and calling that a new fucking product. And then expecting you to still spend $50 to $60 on it, or $40 to $60 on it, which is still too fucking much for a game that came out like fucking 6 months ago. Stop this shit. And as I said, until I see some more on Pirate Warriors 3, and I don't think that game, I can honestly say right now, I'm not hyped for that game whatsoever, and I feel like that game will be the first Pirate Warriors game in the series that I can honestly say you really shouldn't buy. If I had to pick a Pirate Warriors game you should buy, it's just Pirate Warriors 2. Because Pirate Warriors 3 I expect to be on some bullshit. Just like how I look at the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games and say that's some bullshit. But yeah, tell me what your guys' thoughts on this whole repeating fighting games and adding on to them every 6 months to a year, not letting these games sit for a while and really flesh themselves out. Let me know and tell me what you think in the comment section below. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace off.